What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. I'm here with the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gablim, and Mr. Maui Yap. What's up, guys?
Let's go! What an
Daming
upset
basketball today.
today!
Oh, daming games. Yes. So let's start with that, actually. We do have to talk about a couple of games. Uh, let's start with the UST versus UP game. UST upsets UP in the Phil Oil competition. Let's talk about our key takeaways. And then after that, let's talk about the other games in Pinoyliga. Nag-quarterfinals sila yesterday or the other day. And we do have some UAAP news coming up. So let's start with the game earlier. UST versus UP. Gab, key takeaway from that game.
My key takeaway is the FSA watch. And Maui, I think napag-usapan natin to last time na ikaw, I think mga 60-40 ka pa kung Naruka or Udodo. Ako, I think I was like 80-20. I'm leaning towards Naruka. Now I'm 100%. Ako, 100%. I think UP should go with Francis Naruka as their FSA for season 88. The offensive upside, we've talked about it. He is better offensively than Tikachi Udodo. Defensively, I think Udodo is more athletic. He's a bigger dude too. But I like the rim protection that Francis Naruka gives. He's been playing really well in both in Pinoyliga and in Phil Oil. He's been putting up numbers, scoring a lot of buckets. That's something that Udodo does not have. He cannot really score. He's not really his offensive repertoire is not as polished. It's not as refined as people would like. So I think si Naruka talaga yung best choice for season 88. With that being said, though, I do want him to rein it in a bit. Si Naruka, parang napapansin ko, every time he gets the ball, he wants to shoot. He doesn't seem to want to do anything else other than attack and shoot. I do think at times, especially in the game earlier against UST, there were a lot of times where he got the ball and he didn't want to rotate the basketball anywhere else or move the basketball, but he just wanted to attack, which in some instances it can be good. In some instances, like their game on Saturday against NU, it can be a bit damaging, diba? To always keep on attacking and not move the ball and find the better shot. I don't think that's how UP wants to play, where they give the ball to one person and then just let them cook. That's not how UP has played the past how many seasons. They usually like to share the basketball, run through the offense, find the best option. I do think they have to work on that part of Francis Naruka's game. But I do like the upside nga. He reminds me a lot about of Henry Agonane last season when Henry Agonane started out. Diba? Si Henry, whenever he'd get the ball, he tried to do it himself. He tried to dribble from the outside. He tried to post up every single time. He tried to shoot it. It's not the most effective offense for LaSalle back then. I don't think for UP it's going to be the most effective offense. Just give it to Francis Naruka and then Francis Naruka will shoot the ball. So medyo may blinders pa siya for now. But I do think it can be corrected as long as he plays with his teammates more often and gets more experience. So I'm calling it for FSA watch. I do think Francis Naruka, I'm 100% on him as the season 88 FSA for the UP Fighting Maroons. Sam and Maui, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't seen a lot of basketball lately, but Naruka looked convincing in his game despite the loss earlier against UST. I do agree yung sinabi mo about him attacking, no? Pero he does get those highlight plays also sometimes. I think may at the start of like the second half, he had like a dunk, a crazy dunk na talagang iniwasan na lang ni Buenaflor eh. Parang he made the business decision. He was like, I'm not challenging this.
Wala akong, di ba sabi, no way. No.
No way.
Looking pa lang ako, ayoko to.
I'm not touching them. I don't want to get posterized. But I think if they get Naruka, they would have a higher upside then versus nakalimutan ko na nga ng dati nilang FSA. But anong pangalan niya?
Udodo.
Udodo, yon.
Dikachi Ododo.
Dikachi.
Udodo. Dikachi Ododo. So, but the thing is for me is ang problem ko is like the other bigs din with like the FSAs of with the bigs of UP, no. I think Gab nag-comment ka kanina sa chat natin, when they play two bigs lalo na, I think it's problematic for UP. So I think they have a solid FSA. I just don't like to see that much of yung two big lineup. I do like him playing with like guys like Miguel Iniguez, who extends the floor. I love the shooting of Iniguez. I think he shot like a couple of threes earlier, or parang mid-range twos. So I do like yung mix na yon. And what I like about Nuruka is yung defensive, yung sa defensive end niya. He can score offensively, but he's also very solid defensively, and I think UP needs that for their FSA. So I do agree with that takeaway.
On the defensive end, Sammy, I do want to point to one instance, I think in this third quarter, where he was isolated on Kyle Paranada and did not get beat by Kyle Paranada and stayed with him the whole way. I think forced a really tough shot on yung by Kyle Paranada. So that just goes to show that there's a lot of upside on the defensive end when it comes to Francis Nuruka. He can guard on the perimeter. That showed me in this game. He can protect the rim. He had a lot of highlight reel blocks a while ago and has been having a lot of highlight reel blocks throughout the season. Yung two big lineup, I think we'll talk about that later, Sammy, because they did get someone to address that. So we'll talk about it later. Maui.
I agree. I think yung upside ni Nuruka is what UP will need pag season 88 after them losing some of their key players, diba, from last season. I think yung energy niya is what I like the best. Sometimes, as you mentioned, Gab, siguro nasusobrahan lang sa excitement Francis Nuruka. But I really like yung activity niya on the court, on both ends of the floor. Maybe, like what Sammy said, when he gets more reps, then he'll be able to provide more consistent and more efficient offense. He'll try to force less. But it looked better than si Agunane from last season, diba? Kasi grabe yung kay Agunane, it looked pretty ugly when he was operating in the high post. I like how Nuruka sometimes beats his man and gets those thunderous dunks. But with Ododo injured, I think that we could easily say that maybe si Nuruka na nga ang option ng UP for next season. From the game a while ago, I think my biggest takeaway is the breakout of Jeder Crisostomo is really showing. We've been saying on this show that we're pretty high on this guy, I think for the past 2 seasons already. Diba? Despite him destroying Ateneo, we like this guy. We like the development of this guy. I like how he looks like a wing now, more than a big. His 3-point shot is more consistent. I think in the Phil Oil tournament, he's currently shooting around 53% from the 3-point line. He shot 10 for 10 free throws kanina, and his shooting looks more refined. I like his development. But I think the main thing that I've loved seeing about Crisostomo is how he is relentless in attacking the basket. I think he was able to draw 8 fouls from the UP defense a while ago, showcasing how he has really developed both his handles and his finishing. 23 points, I think, a while ago. That's he really led the way throughout. He really led the way from the get-go, diba? Si Caballero and Fortsky didn't even have to score a ton of points until the fourth quarter. I think if UST gets another guy who can consistently score, it will really pay dividends, diba? The Caballero and maybe Fortsky can focus on retaining their energy for the fourth quarter, which is what happened a while ago. Caballero had, I think, scored 9 points during the last 7 minutes of the game, and was pretty fresh. He could really take over during the latter part of the game. So if Jello Crisostomo continues to play like this, then maybe UST can give LaSalle and UP a run for their money.
Ako, Jello Crisostomo is proving me wrong for not including him in my top power forwards list. I did say, I think when we were discussing it, sabi ko, I doubt the shooting and the offensive skill set yet of Jello Crisostomo. Kasi last year, wala naman siyang ganitong skill set. His shot came and went. You know, it wasn't there consistently.
He was hitting corner threes. Yun lang.
He was hitting a lot of corner threes.
Yeah.
He scored consistently in the paint against Ateneo because Ateneo didn't have much yung in the realm of rim protection. So, I was doubting that. But so far, man, he's proving me so wrong. He's on the top of my list of potential breakout players for season 88. He looks really good. Yung sabi nga ni Maui, he's attacking now from the perimeter, creating his own shot from the perimeter. So that we never saw that last season from Jello Crisostomo. And now he looks like the perfect third guy alongside Cabanero and Fortsky. Last year it was Mo Tungkara. They obviously don't have Mo for this upcoming season, but it looks like it's paying dividends in terms of giving more freedom and giving more playmaking for Jello Crisostomo. I love it. Siguro him and Sean Tuanyo are my top picks right now for potential breakout player. But that was also one of my takeaways from the game a while ago. He's just really good, and he's bound for a breakout season. He scored, I think, 12 points in the first quarter when UST laid the hammer on
16-0.
Yeah, 17-0 ata. It started out 17-0. And actually, they won the game in the first quarter. Because actually, they lost the rest of the three quarters. But because of their overwhelming lead in the first quarter, they were able to hang on in the end. Sammy, your takeaway.
I do want to pat myself on the back. I think I picked Jello Crisostomo as my parang player to watch out for during our preseason preview. When we were talking about that, I think kami ni Maui picked him. Really love this guy, and I'm super happy that he's performing. I think maganda yung sinabi mo, Gab, about yung comparison to Tungkara, and the fact na nawala si Tungkara, he's getting those touches, or he's getting those plays. These are like plays that they were making for Tungkara, and now it's going to Jello Crisostomo. We do know Peter Osang is also like very good, like we talked about him sa chat, pero he's not a Tungkara or like a parang stretch big like Jello Crisostomo. So I'm amazed at how Jello Crisostomo has evolved. Kahit na pinili ko siya sa breakout player sa preseason, the way he would shoot threes, kasi last season nga corner threes lang talaga. Ngayon meron na siyang like fake sidestep and then like take the three. May mga moves na siya to like hit that 3-point shot. It's not just like a corner three. It looks like he's very comfortable taking that 3-point shot, and they're looking for him. They're always looking for him. Tsaka si Asido, I think Asido hit like 4 or 5 3-point shots kanina. So if those two guys can hit their threes just like in the game earlier, this team can be very dangerous. Of course, meron ka pa ring Fortsky na mahilig tumira ng sobrang layong tres na hindi mo alam maiinis ka ba o matutuwa.
He hit a dagger, although.
Yeah. He hit one clutch one. I think he hit like 2 overall dun from like far. Pero
and had
Nag-heat
one
check
hell
pa
of
nga Nag-heat check pa after, di ba?
after that tumira ulit siya.
But Sam, you have to give it to him. He had one where he was
He
doubled.
split the D, split the D,
the
tas
double
between the legs niya.
between the legs and then hit a floater right after.
Tapos
I'm like,
floater
wow.
na. Yeah. Wow. I was
Walang
amazed.
Kris Paul.
One hell. I do have a question for you guys. So this was obviously an upset by UST. Are you giving them more of a chance to win a title? Are you putting them alongside UP or LaSalle? Are they contenders, more of contenders now compared to before? Maui, let's go to you.
I'll be honest. I still don't think that they're on the same level, diba? As you mentioned, they won the game pretty handily in the first quarter. It was, a 24-point deficit ba? Or even more that UP had to
More.
claw back into, diba? I think 27 if I heard the announcer correctly. So they're probably higher on my list in terms of like maybe them getting that sole third slot. But
I
ranking
agree.
them at the same level as LaSalle and UP with all the firepower that these two teams have, diba? Remember that explosive matchup that they had where they both scored 100 points. I think UST is trying to get to that level, but this game shows that they can get to that level, but I wouldn't say that they are on that level. Maybe they still lack a few players in some positions, especially I think yung big man. Diba? They still have that same problem from last season. After Crisostomo, after Osang, who can they play as big man? Is Benaflor ready? Will Benaflor be better when the season opens? Diba? Benaflor is still a rookie. Will Asido also break out like Crisostomo? I think when you talk about a Pido Horencio team, it's about having that collective effort from the wings. When you have 2, 3, 4 explosive wings, then maybe anything is possible. That's where Pido was able to sneak in and upset all the teams when they won the championship. And that's where Pido's teams continued to be competitive during his early first stint with UST. So maybe if we see Asido become more consistent, maybe if Crisostomo proves to be the real deal, then maybe come UAP time we can say that they are on the same level as UP and LaSalle.
I
Sammy,
agree.
ikaw.
I agree with Maui. But after seeing this game, I'm a bit higher on UST than I was before. I would say they could be a clear number 3 team, not on the same level as LaSalle or UP yet. But I think they're up there. Especially kung tingnan mo lang sila on star power alone, 'di ba? They still have Fortski and Nick Cabanero. Those two guys can go pro and play internationally right now, and they would be like starters for international teams. They're that good. So I think they do have the star power, pero not maybe not the same quality or level of depth as a LaSalle or a UP team. So yun yung problema, which which leads me to my takeaway. Actually, I had Jello Crisostomo as my takeaway, just like Maui, pero I'm changing it, and Maui sort of mentioned it already. I think UST is one big man away from being a serious finals contender.
I agree. The
Or
Ecolauri minutes were bad.
yes. No offense to Echo Laure. I think he did his best trying to go guard Noruka or go up against the bigs of UP. Pero you can really see there's a dip when Osang sits. And you know what? Peter Osang has surprised me. He is not a tungkara. We've talked about that. But hindi din ganun kalaki yung dip, or they won't miss Tongkara as much if Jello Crisostomo is going to play like this. I think Peter Osang gives them things that they really need. Number one, a lot of energy. He was like all over the floor. He was running up and down. Talk about a guy who tried to chase down all the layups, tried to block every shot. He
Marami siya
was
chase down blocks kanina.
Exactly. He was everywhere. He was jumping everywhere. I love the energy. He's a solid rebounder. I think nasa top 5 siya in rebounding sa Phil Oil. They badly need that kasi when he sits down, they could not get a rebound. Ang daming second chance opportunities ng UP kanina.
Sean
Parang nawala si
Alter,
Maui.
look,
Ayan. Yeah, Sean Alter was dominating UST. I think nakaupo si Osang when Alter was playing, 'di ba? So they look really bad, but I love Osang, I love Crisostomo, I love the team. I mentioned Asido, Gab, you were high on Lemit. Lemit has solidified himself as to play enough minutes as a starter for UST. I mentioned they have two superstars in Fortsky and Nick Caballero. They just need one more solid big man to really be a title contender. And I think there's an opportunity for Buenaflor to be that guy. He's just not there yet. But you never know. Baka he gets there, diba? He's a rookie. It might take time for him to get used to seniors basketball. But malay mo, mag-breakout siya in the middle of the season and he could be that guy. But right now, they need someone else. Kasi Eco Laure is good for like a couple of minutes if they're in foul trouble. And that's what happened kanina. I think Osang and Crisostomo got into foul trouble. That's also what gave UP the opportunity to catch up throughout the game. Kasi they didn't have any like solid bigs. Or ano na natakot na sina, I noticed like Osang and Crisostomo, they weren't as aggressive na because they were in foul trouble. And wala na talagang iba eh. So, sino yung guy na yun? Is it Buenaflor? Is it someone else? I don't know. But
Well, they
I
did
hope
get a
they
big
get
man,
one.
pero season 89 pa.
Yun nga eh. Sayang. We'll talk more about that. We were talking about si Porter, diba? So, we'll talk more about that later on. Okay, Gab,
Last
you
thing
wanna
na
say
lang
anything
siguro.
before we move on? Yeah.
Last thing na lang siguro on the game. I do agree. It took a wildly hot first quarter from UST and a wildly cold first quarter from UP for them to pull out this win against the UP Fighting Maroons. But as I said, UP won quarters 2-4. And if it weren't for that outrageous first quarter, I don't think the UST would have pulled out with the win. Siguro another note, Raylan Torres, come on, man. There was a
Na-technical na
instance-
naman eh, no?
si Raylan Torres, during a loose ball and then a dead ball, he just bumped Nick Caballero. And then, when he was called for the technical, he raised his hand like he did nothing. Like, see, it's yung...
Gawin siya eh.
Oh, diba? Parang, bro, ito yung reason bakit ang hirap mo yung paniwalaan sa Spitgate yung last season eh. Kasi ganyan Stop it. Come on. There was no reason for him to do that to Nick Caballero and he still did it. I don't know with Raylan Torres. He's like UP's version of Joaquin Manuel sometimes. He just does crazy things on the court na parang uncalled for things. Mas like si Joaquin Manuel dati. So, that's just one of my notes from the game a while ago. The unsportsmanlike foul from Harold. I think Sammy, you were Maui, you were on the other side of this. Kami ni Sammy thought it was really an unsportsmanlike foul. It was an above the shoulders hit on Crisostomo. I think si Maui said he did try to play the ball, but he did get some head and above the shoulder contact. So I think we do agree with that. But yun lang. Those are my only notes for Camille Clarin was good on the call.
I loved CC. Yeah.
Yeah, CC was really good. So I hope she gets some UAP airtime. I do want to hear her more on the call. I think she was really good a while ago. Maui, any
Kung si
last
Bea
words before we
Daens,
move on?
nabigyan ng chance, di ba? Hopefully si Cici rin. I think one of the things that I want to say last is, I mentioned this to you guys, maybe this is the first off-season that UP hasn't looked like a god. They've looked human. They've lost some games. They've looked like a team that's not as formidable, but still one of the favorites of the UAAP. It's gonna be interesting to see how they look like after they go to their rigorous training abroad. I think right now Coach Gold is still trying to fine-tune some of their lineups, especially some Naruka lineups. And I don't know if si Palanca will be our next, one of the things that we'll talk about later will be the answer to their problem in their rotation.
To be fair, no, wala si Abadiano and si Remogat kanina. They also lost to NU sa Pinoyliga, but which
Belmonte rin, Sam.
Belmonte, but that was actually a good thing.
Salbahe ka, Gab. They also lost to NU, but that was UP split into two. So we don't know what the final lineup will be, but yes, tama ka, Mau. They've lost this preseason compared to previous seasons where they've just dominated everyone basically. Moving on, let's talk about yung quarterfinals ng Pinoyliga. We did have like a few games. I think UST versus JRU, UP, which team ba yun? Basta one UP team, team 2 lost to NU, team 1 beat Benild, but they backed out, so we can talk about that also. And then the other one was I think it was Adamson versus
Mapua.
Mapua ba yun? Mapua, yeah. So, maybe you can pick like a game there. Let us know your takeaways. Let's start with you, Gab.
I do. I'm gonna pick the NU UP game, and I'm gonna shout out one player because I love watching him. Jid Locsin. He got a ton of playing time because Pebble Garcia got injured at the start of this game, and hopefully he's fine. I think he landed awkwardly on his foot or his ankle, so hopefully he'll be fine. But Jid Locsin, I love watching this guy. Actually, earlier in the preseason, si Coach Jeff Napa has been using Jid Locsin parang the earlier years of Eman Monfort in Ateneo. Sa end of the quarter lang siya ginagamit because, si Eman Monfort is fast, he's a shooter. Yun ang ginagawa ni Jeff Napa kay Jid Locsin. Pinapasok lang siya sa end ng quarters because he's so freaking fast. Na he can bring the ball up the floor so fast and just get and generate whatever shot. He's been doing that the entire preseason. He's been putting in Jid Locsin for the final few seconds of every quarter or every half, and just letting him cook the whole run the floor and make a play. That's all the minutes he's been getting actually the entire preseason. And now we finally saw extended minutes from Jid Locsin. There was no Tebo, there was no Humamoy, there was no Steve Nash Enriquez. So it was him and Dwayne Miranda, the incoming rookies. And among the two, I really love yung Jid Locsin. And he's so fun to watch. He's pesky on defense because he's so small, he's so skinny, but he's pesky. I think the announcer, I forgot the name of the analyst on the call. He did say si Jid Locsin is the type of guard that you hate to play against but love to play with. Because he's a playmaker, he gives you the basketball, but he's so pesky on defense. He will reach, he will put his hands everywhere just to try to get the ball. And he's so freaking fast. He's like a blur. He's like Jason Castro reincarnated into a teenager. He's so fast. And I love him. I really love his game. I don't think he's gonna get minutes. Again, we said NU has 5 point guards. 5.
So point din to si Jid Locsin. Sorry, hindi pa ako familiar kay
yes,
Locsin.
he's really really small. He's smaller than Dwayne Miranda. I think he's smaller than Steve Nash Enriquez. So he's small. Way. Yeah, he's really small. He's small and he's skinny. But he is so fast. He can get to the rim at will because he's just so damn fast. And I love watching him. He knows how to make. He's erratic sometimes because a typical rookie point guard is usually like that. But I love watching him. I think he was one of the bright spots in this game. He got a lot of run in their win against UP. UP Team 2, tama ba? Yung Team 2, diba? Yung against UP Team 2. And I think in Pinoyliga, he's been one of the people that I just love watching because he's a spitfire out there. He just brings so much energy and so much pace to the game. So shout out to Jid Locsin. You're probably not gonna play a bunch in season 88, but you've been one of my preseason best watches. Sammy, Maui.
That's how you get playing time, di ba? Play scrappy, play aggressive. Very good for the rookie. Ako, if I were to choose a game, I think this is also the game that I would choose from all of the quarterfinals game from Pinoyliga. Just because I think NU may asim sa game na to. I think they already knew that Palanca is on the way to UP before this game started. You could see yung fire in their eyes. Si Figueroa was aggressive all throughout the game, scoring 23 points. I think this them sending the message to UP that we're mad, we're ready to go, and I think this is also NU reintroducing themselves to the UAAP that we are going to compete come season 88. that was the biggest message that NU could send this offseason, and they did. Despite losing one of their promising young players. Despite not even having si Manansala, 'di ba, sa game. So I love what
Oo
I
nga,
saw
no?
from NU. I think that they also have the upside to potentially become a title contender, much like UST. Maybe these are the two teams that could take that next step. I think they have si Gabi and I, we've been talking about NU the past few weeks. I think they're basically playing two generations, the old guns and the young guns, and I think that's where their upside comes from. Also, yung young guns, maybe also a breakout by Palacelo, as I mentioned, could be a key thing for them
Yeah.
come season 88. But it looks like, as we mentioned, the FSA, another FSA watch, diba, for Enyo. I think we haven't really seen any other plays. Collins Akowe, no news. Very silent right now. Diasana, we don't know when is due back. If he's still going back to NU. So it looks like si Omar Jan as the inside track, and so far so good this off season.
We
Maybe
called
they
this
were wrong.
already, Maui. Remember?
Yeah.
Omar Jan na. Wala na. Siya na yung
Maybe
talaga.
they were wrong. Diba? Yung season 87 for not considering si Omar Jan. But I think he also brings that fire. Diba? Because NU decided not to get him come season 87. Sam.
I think maganda yung theme na NU is out to prove something. Si Omar John has a chip on his shoulder. The entire for not being picked last season. The entire team has a chip on their shoulder against in this match against UP. Sabi mo nga, Mau, because siguro medyo salty pa sila with Palanca leaving them and moving to UP. So I think medyo they played extra hard in this game, but I do wanna like overall I do wanna shout out yung NU. Again, like, to be fair, this is a UP team that is like cut in half, so it's not really like the full lineup of UP. Pero NU has been impressive this preseason. It was not a good year for them last year, but against like the top teams, they've battled it out. They lost to LaSalle in Asia Basket by like a point, and now they beat UP Team 2 sa quarterfinals. So this could be ano ba? I would like, compared to UST, maybe I would rank them slightly lower, number 4, but they can be a title contender, or they can be a Final Four contender at least this season, as long as they have that FSA. And I think we locked him in, Omar John, FSA for NU. Really, really solid. I think if we're assuming na yung FSA, wala nang FSA na dadating, or wala nang QMB na dadating na out of nowhere MVP level big man, I think si Omar John could potentially could compete with the best FSAs this season 88, or the best bigs this season 88. He was going up against Mike Phillips. He was matching up against Mike Phillips nung game nila, diba? So he's on that level, and I think he deserves to make it to the team.
Wala naman na si Malik Diouf.
Wala si Malik Diouf. And he was matching up well with Francis Noruca. So I give him props. My other takeaway from the games in Pinoyliga, and I go to Adamson and I go to the FSA, I cannot watch more of Alugay. I just cannot. Just put in OJ. I'm calling the FSA watch also for Adamson. Just put OJ in. He's the FSA where he's at 88. Alugay is not the answer. Because if Jonah Precious is eligible, then maybe him. But he has not been playing. He's not even lined up for Phil Oil. So I think just go with OJ. I mean, you know what you're getting from OJ Ojarikre. He's a solid defender and rebounder. That's it.
Top shot blocker.
Yeah.
He's the top shot blocker last season, I think. Tsaka sa Phil Oil.
Yep. And that's what you know you're gonna get. He's solid on defense. He rebounds the ball well. has no offensive game at all, but Alugay has no offensive game at all too. So I think you just go with the better and more proven defender, OJ Ojorikre. I cannot. He played 7 minutes against Mapua, and Mapua doesn't have an FSA. I mean, come on, Alugay. I don't know. I think that's a nail in the coffin for his chances. In my opinion, I don't think they should go with Alugay as their FSA for season 88. As the official Adamson whisperer, baka pwedeng si OJ na lang. Okay, that's my plate. I cannot watch more of Alugay. I just cannot anymore. Yun lang. Sakit sa mata panoorin ni Alugay.
Speaking of FSA, I know I just talked about the UST Bigs and si Peter Osang. Si Kumbay has looked very good, very solid. I don't think,
Oh,
I'm
King
not sure,
Kumbay.
I
I think that's his nickname or something. King Kumbay.
don't think he's eligible. At least wala siya sa Phil Oil. So feel ko it's going to be Peter Osang for season 88. But this guy is scary. He's huge. He blocks shots. Led
Hindi
the
ba
team
overage?
in scoring. Yan ka na naman eh. Parang
May type yung mga
Karim
yung UST
Abdul
eh.
lang eh. Diba? Karim
May type
Abdul.
sila eh.
Ano, issue ka na naman dyan, Maui. Magagalit sa UST fans. But he looks
Maui
good.
has a point
so,
though. He looks good, but he looks
old.
old.
He looks old. But, yeah, speaking of FSA watch. Anyway, Maui, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think that's it for Pinoyliga. But let's see what happens sa semifinals and finals. I think the worst thing is UP deciding not to continue anymore for Pinoyliga.
That's unfortunate, man. That's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
I think that's the second straight Pinoy Liga that they've withdrawn during the playoffs. So I don't know. I think Pinoy Liga has a schedule around this. They cannot have UP withdrawing every single play for the second straight for next season for the third straight playoffs. They're gonna withdraw. So it doesn't look good. I think it got a bit more complicated. I think they're gonna have a playoff for the final
Yeah.
yung semifinal slot, and then they're gonna play it out. Basta medyo naging mas magulo.
Check out yung post ng Pinoy Liga to see the updated semis or playoff race. One last thing on that though. UP needs to apologize to Benild kasi tinalo lang nila yung Benild. Pinatanggal nila sa playoffs, and then sabi nila okay, back out na kami. So I feel bad for Benild kasi they could have made it sana kung nag-back out lang UP 2 days earlier. So may utang sila sa Benild. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about yung UAAP news that came out recently. Two things actually. Two guys transferring teams. So, let's talk about the bigger news or yung medyo nagka-issue. Miguel Palanca decommitting to the NU Bulldogs and transferring to the UP Fighting Maroons. Before we get your insights, NU and UP, they have history. They have beef. Going back to Coach Gold, their coach during the juniors, in the juniors division way back, he was supposed to transfer to the seniors team. Something happened during the pandemic. Something happened. Coach Gold decides to move to the UP Fighting Maroons and take his entire team with him. That's how UP built the NU Bullpups team with Carl Tamayo leading the way, Jerry Abadiano, Terence Forte, Harold Alarcon. After that, they started getting even more players. Talked about Raylan Torres, Janjan Felicilda. They played for NU initially, their first year, and then they joined the NU Bullpups in UP. And now, they're going to take NU's prized rookie, their top player from their juniors team, decommitting from NU, and he already played a few preseason games, and then deciding to join UP. Maui. Your takeaway from that, from Miguel Palanca moving to Katipunan.
My initial reaction is the UAP is a crazy league right now. It's not very common that we see players play for others for a school and transfer mid off season. And right now it's becoming a norm. It's becoming something very common in all preseasons. Diba? We saw that with Mason Amos last year. I think that is still the most shocking. But when we're talking about UP a while ago, I don't know if si Palanca is the right person to save them dun sa power forward slot. It's a bit concerning. I guess the hit has been really bigger. Losing Pablo, I say Pablo because I think si Pablo, if he was still in UP, could start at the fourth slot. And especially si Torculas. Losing Torculas when Lopez was going to go pro pala was really a very big blow. When you talk about power forwards in the UP system, in Coach Gold's system, it's not the traditional big man na katabi ng FSA or katabi ni QMB. We usually have very versatile power forwards who know how to shoot from the outside, who know how to drive to the basket. Very specific skill set. Diba? You talk about Lucero, you talk about Carl Tamayo, you talk about Francis Lopez. These are all very versatile bigs that you can also consider as sort of players transferring to the wing slot. That's something that they lack right now. Si Belmonte has been very disappointing this preseason. I think he's nursing a knee injury, if I'm not mistaken. Kaya he has also missed some games. I don't know if Palanca is that guy. And with UP having so many big men waiting to get some playing time, is this the right move for Palanca? Next year, VJ Pre will be arriving and will also get 3 playing years. So even
VJ
if you
Pre
play...
is that guy.
VJ Pre is that guy. Diba? Let's be honest.
I think
the one that they need.
2 lang, diba, VJ? He played
Sorry,
1
2.
with FEU. Yeah, 2.
Yeah, he'll get two more playing years. That means that if Palanca even plays maybe better than advertised this season, he'll have to back up VJ Pre for the next 2 seasons. That's how high I think of VJ Pre, and that's how si Palanca kasi looks like a project from what I've seen so far. So let's see if UP will be able to utilize him. I think this is a bigger blow to NU than it is a bigger addition to UP. I think NU really needed some more big men, or maybe some young guns to get them some ceiling, and some young guns to replace some of the graduating players. So I don't know if this is the right decision for Palanca, but maybe they can prove us wrong.
My initial reaction to this is, first of all, the spin article and whoever got interviewed from the NU side, come on, man, you can't cry foul. I think the words, pinalaki namin to sa high school, yung kami nag-bring up sa kanya, wag yung nakausapin ng bata. First of all, bro, whoever got interviewed, whether it's from the coaching staff, the management, or even Jeff Napa himself, that's so hypocritical. And you do this. Oh, you did it to Adamson last season. You have Figueroa, Tebol, Vince Reyes.
May beef din sila no? Adamson and NU.
You can say don't touch our high school players, and when you do it to other people, and also high school to college, that's normal recruitment. I don't think you can say na he's off limits. He's not yet enrolled. It was his choice. It was Miguel Palanca's choice where he wanted to go. So NU, please don't say that. Also, you do it in volleyball. High school pa nga lang ginagawa nyo na. I think that's a big issue now amongst the volleyball fans, di ba?
Yeah. UST, yung UST high school star was
their
recruited by their captain was recruited by NU. And I was gonna say, Gab, UST said the exactly same line na sinabi nila na kami nagpalaki, nagtrain nito, tapos kayo ang kukuha, ganon. So, it was so funny that NU used that exact same line on Palanca kasi that's what UST was complaining about dun sa volleyball player nila. Anyway, go ahead.
Not only UST, Sam, they also got a volleyball player from Adamson High School. So, this is so hypocritical coming from NU, and I think there were a lot of memes made about it. And come on. So, sobrang hypocritical na yung medyo bastos. Kasi, ginawa yun din sa ibang school. But ngayon, kayo nagre-reklamo. Okay, so, yun lang. I just wanted to get that out of the way. It was funny, but also a bit eye roll ka sa sinabi ng kung sino man yun. Again, it was unnamed source. Okay?
You don't feel bad for them.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for anyone at all. With that being said, as Maui said, I don't know if Palanca is the answer. I did say in our recap of the LaSalle UP game in Phil Oil that UP has a power forward problem because si Belmonte, I just said a while ago, napapakamot ako ng ulo at times kay Belmonte. He shows flashes. He puts up good offensive numbers, but there are games he gets taken advantage of. Si Eniguez, I'm higher, I think. I mean, I think his shooting ability is going to be valuable.
Yeah.
So he had a bad defensive game against LaSalle, but I'm willing to give him more leeway. I mean, it is his first season in the UAAP. I do think he should get some run. He's been shooting the ball really well. So I do want to give him some time at the 4. Hopefully, yung magkaroon siya. So when I said they have a power forward problem, I wasn't thinking that they were going to get a rookie in Miguel Palanca to, immediately get big rotation minutes as a starting power forward. He looks like he does need to round out some skills. He's sometimes rough defensively. He gets pushed around in the paint. Again, he's very slight of build. He's very athletic though. His shot comes and goes. I've seen him hit some mid-range shots. 3-point shots, I haven't seen him hit it consistently. So yun ang problem ko. Sammy, right now, he plays more like a traditional big than an actual power forward. I don't know if he can really convert his game right away as a power forward in a Coach Gold system. Yung tama yung sabi mo, Maui yung sabi mo. Yung typical Coach Gold power forward is someone who's very versatile, can stretch the floor, can make plays. I don't think Miguel Palanca is that guy now. So I would be very surprised if he starts and gets big minutes immediately in this UP roster. And that's a problematic because gaya na sabi ni Maui, come season 89, VJ Press coming. And he's essentially going to be for now, the backup, but there's still Belmonte, there's still Eniguez, and si Andres, if he ever comes around, ang daming competition for playing time. So I'm not sure this was exactly the best spot for Miguel Palanca. But I do like UP yung taking a chance. Baka sabi nila, we don't want to miss out on a KQ type again from the NU Bullpups na may bigote. Di ba si KQ yung may bigote? Si Miguel Palanca yung may bigote rin. Baka sabi nila, we don't want to miss out.
Bigote.
Oh, yung baka we might strike gold with Miguel Palanca. But yeah, for me it wasn't the best situation. If he stayed in NU and he was not playing any center because si Palacielo and si Omar John were their main guys at center, his main competition for minutes at the 4 was only Kenshin Padrones. Diba? And no offense to Kenshin Padrones, I think we've seen the peak of Kenshin Padrones already in the UAAP. I don't think he's gonna evolve his game any further than what he's already been doing. So I think if you talk about depth and chance for playing time, I thought NU would have been better. But again, NU can't cry foul. They've done this, and now he's with the UP Fighting Maroons. And let's see what Coach Gold does. Again, same boto as Maui. I don't think he starts right away, but I do like the upside of Miguel Palanca. Again, very athletic, taller than most of their power forwards. If the shot comes around, you could see him eventually start for the UP Fighting Maroons. Again, his competition for minutes is Belmonte and Iniguez, neither of whom I think are locking up that power forward slot. So there's definitely opportunity in the UP roster, but only for his season 88, because season 89 it's VJ Pre time. And if VJ Pre is the VJ Pre we saw in Pinoyliga on Saturday, hitting 4 threes, or was it 5? Uh, he's getting majority of those minutes without a doubt. Sammy.
As Mami mentioned, diba, VJ Pre will be eligible for 2 more years. So, that means what? He'll get, even if he plays really well this season, he probably won't get enough that much minutes the next 2 seasons. Fourth year na ni Palanca when he gets like that opportunity, and that's assuming wala nang ma-recruit yung UP na magaling na big man or
Yes,
power
ayun pa.
forward or center, and I think yun yung problem.
Huwag
for,
mo
like,
na i-assume yun, Sam.
Oh, yun yung problem with these guys, diba? It's hard to sort of predict how UP will look like 3 years from now, 2 years, 3 years from now. So, I do get it. Like, feel ko parang stopgap talaga solution. Just trying to look for ways to improve yung 4 spot nila for this coming season. Pero I guess for Palanca, long term, like, felt like it made more sense to stay at NU. When that news came out, parang, di ba, yung spin article, it was like a mystery team, di ba? First team that came to mind, a team we talked about, UST. Sabi ko, if UST could get like
Talaga, Sam? Ako
another big man.
He's going to UP.
Alam na natin, like, it was 2 teams that he was going to. It was either UP or LaSalle probably, but like, for me, I was like, baka pwede siya sa UST because they really needed another big. So, yun lang yung for me. But speaking of UST getting another big, they did get one for the succeeding season 89. Kris Porter from Ateneo, deciding to move to UST, join Forts. Well, actually, he won't be able to play with Fortski Padrigao, but he joins Fortski as another Atenean who moved to UST. Anything you wanna say, or like a key takeaway for this Kris Porter move? Is this the best move for Kris Porter, Gab?
I won't say best, but I think it's a good move because he fills a position of need. I don't think he's gonna play any perimeter position in UST. I do think he's gonna play either of the 4 or the 5. They do have a ton of wings kasi yung UST. Talk about si Asido, si Buksit, who came from the high school ranks, si Liemit. They have a ton of wings that they can play. So I'm not sure if he's gonna convert eventually to wing. But I do think as a stretch 4, you can see him there. He's not that tall. We saw Kris Porter last season as the 6'4", 6'3" center of Ateneo, and it wasn't good. Diba? It was solid at times. He could stretch the floor. He was big and strong enough to battle in the paint, but obviously he's at a disadvantage because he's small. He's smaller compared to the other centers in the league. I don't think he completely solves the front court issues of UST even in season 89. But this is a good spot for him. USC's front court is thin, and he provides additional depth in the front court. I don't say it's the best because he loses 2 playing years, which sucks. I still hate that rule. But because Kris Porter was a guy who had to transfer. Diba? He was not a guy who chose, who willingly, I'm going to transfer here. I mean, from all our intel, he had to transfer. He really had to transfer. He had some off-court issues in Ateneo, classroom issues, if you want to call it that. And he had to transfer, and he's getting punished because he just wants to stay in the UAP. It sucks.
Yun lang. He's gonna play only for 2 seasons more, season 89 and season 90. I'm not sure if that's enough for him to, get a runway and maybe fulfill his potential in the UAAP. But this is a good spot for him. I do wish him well. He was, I think, one of the unsung heroes of last season for the Blue Eagles. He was going up against guys much, much taller than him. He was going up against Mike Phillips. So I think that tells you all you need to know. But I wish him well, man. He's in a good spot. It's a school. It's a team that needs his services. I do think he'll get minutes here in UST. I don't know lang if UST is gonna contend in season 89. Again, they're gonna lose their top two guns. So we'll see. We'll see how the other guys on the team develop. Maui.
I think initially I wanted him sana to transfer to the NCA. And the main reason is, as we mentioned, yung 2 years that he's gonna be losing because he decided to stay in the UAAP. I think the UAAP really has to revisit this rule. I will continue to say that on our podcast until the UAAP does something about it. Players who need to transfer are the ones that are being penalized, not players who decide to transfer. Diba? That's a big thing. Diba? When you don't have a choice and you need to transfer, ikaw pa yung dehado. And I think that really spells trouble for the league. But I expected him to go to UST or FEU. I think both of those teams were in the rumor mill with Porter, I think, visiting both campuses and maybe watching or training with them. I think si Porter has a good chance to get some minutes come season 89. My main concern is will he transition to the wing slot? I think that's where his potential, his ceiling can be unlocked. If he decides to continue to play just the 5 slot, then I think that maybe his peak is the PBA, or maybe he'll have even a not so easy route to get to the PBA. Although his brother is doing pretty well as a stretch big, so maybe that's somebody he can follow, he can emulate. But overall, I'm happy for Porter. Diba? He stays in the UAAP, he goes to a good program, he goes to a funded program, a program who looks to compete every year. I think this is one of the best case scenarios given the circumstances that he had to face and in the circumstances that happened to him in Ateneo. Hopefully he does best. All the best for Kris Porter. We love Kris Porter last season. He was, as Gab mentioned, one of the unsung heroes. A warrior. Kakaibang warrior from last season facing players who were 5 to 8 inches taller than him. So props to him. Hopefully he continues to improve. And good luck in UST, Kris Porter. Sam.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it, Maui. I think this is a good move for him because UST is one of the top programs right now. It is also one of the well-funded programs, I would say, with the support of SMC at least. Diba? So I think given that he will get the training and the development he needs. And speaking of converting into a wing, alam naman natin si Coach Pido Harencio, if he's still the coach next season, loves playing his wing. So maybe that's one of the reasons why Kris Porter decided to join UST then. So he can finally convert into a wing. That bodes well for his future. But I agree with you, Maui. I actually wanted him to. I think we talked about this. I wanted him to go to the NCAA initially, just so that he can play more. We know yung history of UAAP bigs who moved to the to the NCAA. They do pretty well for themselves. So I did want to see him there, but I guess if you're moving to another UAAP team, UST, who needs a big man, we've been talking about it this entire episode, would be a good choice for him. Yeah. That's any final takeaways, Gab, before we go?
No, I think we covered a lot. We're going almost an hour.
Gulat nga din ako eh. Okay. So that's it for today. We'll talk more about the UAAP preseason games in the next episode. And more UAAP news as they come. Meron pang mga players na umalis na wala pang team. Guys like Zayn Mamou. We'll see. We'll see. So that's it for today. Like, comment, share with your friends, and don't forget subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.